What's going on, guys? AFK Tech here, and today we're going to be taking a look at setting up my first UPS. So I'm kind of make this a quick and dirty video. So right here we have a APC UPS. UPS is an uninterruptible power supply. This particular model is a rack mount, and essentially what this does is gives you a battery backup in case your power fails. It's not necessarily meant to actually, sustain a load for a super long time. In that case, usually that's going to be generators in a data center environment. But for this, it's there so that if you're going to have a power hiccup, maybe it's going to be out for 5 seconds, all your system doesn't have to get shut down. And if it is going to be out for a more extended time, it allows the UPS to send commands to your systems to allow them to shut down gracefully instead of just having the power cut completely to them. So we're going to talk about the UPS I have right here. So I grabbed this off eBay. This is an APC SMT1500RM2U. So SMT is their smart UPS. It's one of their newer lineup. It was actually a great deal. I'll show you guys the eBay listing here in a second. The 1500 stands for 1500 volt amps. That's kind of the measurement of how much power capacity it has, and it supports up to 1,000 watts load. The RM2U, so RM is rack mount and 2U is the size. So as you can see, it's a 2U enclosure that actually holds the UPS. So I got a pretty good deal on this. I think it came out to 120 bucks shipped. So I got the UPS with that bezel, some rack mount ears that I don't have shown right here, but there was no tray or no battery, which kind of posed a big issue for me. I was thinking I was going to be able to just buy some batteries and put them in here, but with no tray, I needed a wiring harness and some sort of tray to house the batteries themselves. I ended up just going ahead and buying the actual APC replacement for this. It wasn't exactly the cheapest thing, but it did the trick, and it's a little bit more a little bit more trustworthy because these are the genuine replacement batteries. You get brand new connector and all that stuff. So a quick little note on that is it actually came with a little receipt showing the battery qualification test. So this shows that it passed all tests, what time. So this one passed test on December 12th of 2016. So it's actually a fairly new unit that I got, which is super nice. So it was a great deal for this because this is one of their newer models. It has a actual LCD screen as a status readout versus some of the older models, which is like the SUA 1500RM2U, which just had little LED lights for different statuses. And then the other awesome deal that I got on this, which I actually think I stole from people or people didn't notice, is it actually came with a smart card included. So these smart cards in the back of these are actually super valuable because this is what allows you to get a lot of more monitoring statistics on your UPS, as well as send out shutdown commands over the network to many different devices. Because originally it comes with a little USB here, and that allows you to send it out to one device, and then you can rig it up to send out to more devices. But this allows you to do a lot more. It sets up a little web server you can log into that actually puts the UPS on your network. So a little bit more about the UPS here. So we've got 6 outlets here. Since this is just a 1500 volt amp, we just got one standard plug to actually power it up. But we got 6 outlets here, so they're grouped off. We got a group 1 and then basically no group outlet. And that allows you to, prioritize. So let's say the power is out for 1 minute. Well, we can shut down some auxiliary units, but keep group 1 on, which is maybe our main routing, as well as our main servers that we want to keep running. And then, kind of like stagger shutdown, which is pretty sweet. Outside of that though, this, like I said, this is actually a great deal. So I got this for 120 bucks overall, but I'll show you here in the listing. So this was kind of hidden. They didn't mention it in the listing, but when I saw a picture of the serial number and model number here, I could see this APC smart slot, which actually just comes with a black blank when it doesn't have one installed. So I pretty much automatically knew that it had one, and these are worth probably about 70 bucks for this specific model on eBay right now, used, and even more if you want to buy it brand new. So one other thing, I said I got rack mount ears, so I got ears for the front that came with this, but I actually wanted to get some actual rails, so I actually have them in my rack already, just kind of mocked up where I want to put them. I got the rails. They're not necessarily super necessary in this case since I'm going to be putting it at the bottom, but I got these rails from a local seller for 20 bucks, and I wanted to have them in case I do want to move the UPS up and down inside the rack, even though typically they are stored at the bottom and then stacked up. If I get more than one, I can put a new one on these rails here and then put the other one down at the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick dirty install of this, show you guys kind of the little process, and then show you guys it all fired up here at the end. So one of the other steps you have to do when you're like thinking about what size UPS you want to get and just kind of getting a general idea what kind of runtime you'll get out of a UPS is figure out what kind of load you're going to have on that UPS. So I got my kilowatt hooked up to my server rack PDU. It's this long strip right here. It's got everything plugged into it. We got the Cisco switch as well as R210.2. Nothing too fancy in there or high draw wise. And we're pulling about 160 watts right now. So you want to go ahead and use that and go to APC's website or whatever UPS supplier's website and figure out how much runtime you're going to get off of it. So with this, I'm going to get a pretty awesome runtime considering this is a 1,000 watt capacity and 1,500 volt amps. The next step we're going to take is securing the rail system in here. I already have them pretty much pre-installed. I'm just going to make sure they're tightened down now because I didn't end up doing that originally. So try to get them nice and flush with the rail, that way they're sitting flat. Otherwise there's not much to this besides obviously just securing them down. These are going to be holding a fair amount of weight, so definitely use as many screws as possible, and they should slide in there no problem. So we'll go around to the front and do the same thing real quick. A little darker over here, may not be as easy for you guys to see, but we got some of the black screws in the front. That's just for aesthetic reasons. Make sure it looks cool. Go ahead and tighten these down as well. Make sure they're flush. All right. All right, so it looks good. So at this point, we're ready to put the UPS into the rack here. So we'll go ahead and get an angle on it for you guys. Two things I forgot to mention before we put the UPS in is, one, get the rack mount ears hooked up. That's going to allow you to actually secure it to the rails. That way it doesn't slide out of the rails of the rack. That way it doesn't slide out of the UPS rails themselves. Also, you do not want to have your faceplate on because that's an easy way for that to get busted or broke or crack one of your connectors on the edges. And also, you don't want the batteries in because handling this bad boy with the batteries in while trying to get it into the rack on the rails is really just not that great of an idea. So let's go ahead and put those rack mount ears on and then we'll be all set. So now we got the UPS mounted. I had a little bit of trouble on the front rails because I think I'm missing some washers that allow you to secure the rail and then actually put the unit in, but I kind of did both in tandem, which isn't exactly easy because the weight of the unit's pushing the rail down. But it's all secure and it's in there really well. So that's all set. Now we're gonna go ahead and get the battery inserted because that's the next step. We'll go ahead and take the battery pack and put it in. As I said, I left this out originally because it weighs so much. You don't want to have any more weight in this when you're mounting it than you need to. So that slides right in. I don't have the screws to secure it, but this rack's not going anywhere, so I'm not too worried about it. Next step's gonna be actually connecting the connector here. It's pretty straightforward. It might make a spark noise, but that's just normal because that's the power. So we got that all connected. I'm gonna wrap this little pull string that allows you to pull the connector out later on. And now we can go ahead and put the faceplate on just to tidy it up a little bit. Isn't something that's always included with these. Usually they get lost or broken off. So it's nice to see that here. A little tricky to secure it. Doesn't want to stay on there very well. That's good. So we got the UPS all installed here. We're going to go ahead and power it up and connect everything to it. All right, so now we got the back side. We got the power wire here. I'm going to go ahead and route that at the bottom of the rack here where the PDU power already is going through. This corner right here. We're going to go ahead and unplug everything. We don't have anything running right now. The light is plugged into that, so we'll get that back up here in a second. Switch it over to the outlet itself. All right, so we got the light now. Kind of try to organize this extra power cable I got laying around. Some of them are just a little too long. So I'm just going to actually go ahead and plug the entire PDU into this. I'm not going to get too fancy on the different switch groups for now. Since I don't really have that many things, I'm just going to have everything go off at the same time. So I got this extra network cable. Go ahead and get that put in there. And we'll go ahead and pile up some of this extra wire underneath the rack here. And pull the PDU wire out. Bring that back in and just go ahead and plug it into the UPS itself. So we'll go ahead and take this wire out. And now we have the UPS plugged into the wall power itself. You can heard it click over a few times. A little messy on the power cords down here. All right. So now we can go ahead and power that on. Need to turn the UPS on itself. That way it fires up. So let's go over to the front again and power on the UPS to give everything power. All right. Start to beep. So UPS is on. So you just heard everything fire up. So right now it says load 12%, so that's pretty much on par with 130 watts since this is a 1,000 watt load. Let's get in there. Let's run the self-test real quick. This happens every time it boots on and off. Just to make sure that everything's all set. So UPS self-test pass. Really great to see that considering I bought this off of eBay. So you can see now we're at 13% load, battery 53%, because these are the new batteries. You can hear the server spinning up right now during diagnostics post. So we got it all installed here. It's charging up right now. It's at 12% load, so about 120 watts likely measured. Battery's at 41% it says right now. It's a pretty nice little readout. Quick look there. Green means it's on utility power right now, and then it'll flip over to yellow when it's actually flipped onto the battery power. So we can go ahead and test that. You can see everything's on, switch is up and running, as well as R210.2. So we'll go over here, and the thing that you'd be always afraid to do on your server rack, yank the power, and as you can hear, you heard no hiccup. There's a little bit of a hum that you can hear because now the battery, the transformers in there are actually working to power everything, but everything's up and running still. No issues at all. It's super nice to see that, especially if you need, like I was saying, it's just nice to have so things don't have to reboot, especially when like these Cisco switches take, a good minute to get back to full functionality, as well as having your networking on your ESXi box. But that's really cool. So now we just need to wait for the batteries to charge up. The next step that comes with installing these UPSs, since now we're all set, is going to be actually calibrating it so that the runtime is actually correct based on the load that it's going to see. But in this situation, I'm not going to wait for that to happen, because that'll take the whole day or whole night of charging and then doing a leak down where it disconnects from the utility and figures out when it gets down to a really low level of battery. Overall, that's all I kind of wanted to show you guys. It's really cool to have this now, because this will help my ESXi box as well as my switch, which takes a while to reboot, from having to flip over or restart just when we have a quick little intermittent surge of power or loss of power. It also is really cool because it allowed me to monitor a lot of the power activity from remotely with that network add-in card. You can see that's connected to the network now too. And this is a pretty cool UPS considering the price I got it for. This one was manufactured in 2011, I think, so it's fairly recent, but it's exciting. That's my newest addition to my rack here. Hope you guys liked the video. If you didn't like it, of course, give me a thumbs down, but let me know down in the comments why you didn't like it. I know these are kind of just sloppily shot, but I'm just kind of giving you guys a quick overview of what I got going on and some of the cool stuff that I'm working on in my free time. Make sure you use my Amazon link down in the video description. That helps me out a ton in order to get this stuff and make these videos for you guys. This is AFK Tech. See you guys later.